Yo, what's up, family? Before we start the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and share to any and everyone that you can. Just to get out there a little bit more. With that being said, let's right into the video. Alright, how y'all doing? I hope y'all doing good. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, make sure you take your shoes off before you come out. And today we'll be looking at UConn big man Tarris Reed. And Tarris Reed is probably the cleanest and the best backup big bet coming into this draft. If you're looking for a guy that crashes both glasses, that is tough in both paints, a guy that can provide some passing in the short roll and as a handoff passer, a guy that is going to be very smart defensively. He's going to screen, he's going to roll, he's going to do the margin work and just be a very good trash work type of center. And this season, Tarris Reed averaged 15 points, 9 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal, 61% from the field and 62% from the free throw line. And at the combine, he measured in at 6'9" 3/4 barefoot. So if you add that extra inch with the shoes, this is a guy that's playing like slightly under 6'11". He weighs 264 pounds with a 7-foot wingspan. You can just, if you ever seen Tarris Reed play, you know that the strength is not going to be an issue at the next level. But let's get into it. So Reed cements himself in this tournament with 5 really good games. And today we'll be looking at his last 3 games. In his game versus Duke, Tarris Reed had a phenomenal game and just an even better second half. He had 26 points on 10 of 16 shooting, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 steals, and 4 blocks in his game. And I thought, what better game to look at than him like being matched up with Cam Boozer, who is a guy that can be a screener, that can be a handler, that can shoot, that can post up, that can do everything, right? And the first point that I wrote down in this game is that you can see some of the foot quickness for somebody his size in the PNR defensively, right? So here, UConn does like to hedge on most pick and rolls in most games. Here you see him sliding his feet, switching sides, trying to see where the handler is going. He's able to get right back in front of Cam Boozer after the pass, and he does a great job of just putting his hands up and forcing the offensive player to go to him. Here he gets a block on Cam Boozer. All right, so if you've ever seen me on Twitter or if you've seen my channel before, you know that I love breaking down offensive sets, X and O's wise. And I was just in heaven watching this Dan Hurley offense go as I was watching Tarris Reed. So here they're going to go to horns, Miami cross. Quickest way to identify horns alignment is 2 people at or near the elbows of the free throw line. They will most likely be this far apart on every play, but they can also be free throw line extended, as you see right here. So the ball is going to go to Tarris Reed. So that's the horns alignment. Ball goes to Tarris Reed. Now the Miami part is a handoff into a pick and roll. So we got the handoff to Demery. Then he comes off that screen, and the last part we're going to have is this cross screen. Now cross screens is post to post screening, so it'll usually be a person here and a person here, and the small will screen for the big, or somebody will screen so they can get to the opposite block. But this honestly could be flex action too, where you have this flex screen here, and then you have the pin down by Caravan for the screen action right there. But seeing UConn play, they run this as a cross screen with the first option being Tarris Reed in the post, and you can see like the strength is evident. This is very important, not because he's going to be a post scorer at the next level, but for when he sets good screens and he's able to get switches against smaller guys. Will he be able to take advantage of that and get easy points for his team? I believe that most post scorers in college, when they go to the NBA, they always still have that post scoring bag. And with the strength that Tarris Reed provides, he can take advantage of smaller guys. All right, so UConn is going to go to stagger, go single whenever you hear stagger. That is named after stagger screens. Stagger screens are 2 of the same off-ball screens with just a little bit of space in between them. So you're going to see Caravan is going to set this screen, and Tarris Reed is going to set the exact same screen. You see the space in between them, and Solo Ball is going to use both of these to come out to the top of the key. So he gets the ball. Ball's going to go to Silas Demery. Then we have the go screen right there by Solo Ball. Then we have this single wide pin down by Tarris Reed. Again, the strength is evident. That can be used on the glass, boxing out, playing defense. But here he's going to use it as screening right there, as he's going to stop Cam Boozer in his tracks and gets Caravan free of him. And again, in the first clip, I said crash both glasses. Tarris Reed in his last 3 tournament games, the ones that we're going to watch, he averaged 5 offensive rebounds in his last 3 tournament games. And he's going up and over Cam Boozer, who was a really good rebounder, here getting the team an extra opportunity without even getting a board. And just before I forget, a disclaimer, I will say this in every pre-draft video that I do. These videos are not meant to be full scouting reports. You cannot get the full scope of a player in 3 games. I'm just looking to see what I believe can translate. And it's also just great to watch basketball and at the highest level right here in college in the tournament. So Tarris Reed also does a great job of recognizing when to screen, when to slip. And it's just very rare that you see him out of position and not aware of himself or his surroundings. So here, he knows that the Duke big here, Patrick Agungba, he's going to jump out on the handler or at least be at the level of the screen. But right now, you see he's in drop, right? So when the handler goes over to his side, you know he's gonna have to quickly come up, right? So Tarris Reed knows that he's not gonna have to set the screen. That switch pocket is open, and he's gonna slip right there, and he's gonna use that body to get in front of Agungba, taking away his contest and going up for the layup. He does miss that, but he does get the board. And something I did notice in like the first 3 possessions, he had 2 left hand finishes, so pretty comfortable with finishing with both hands. I see UConn's gonna go to stack out flip flare pager to get Tarris Reed into the post for a score. So stack out, first part of this is just a type of entry. Stack out is where 2 people are literally stacked on top of each other. The person on the top is going to set a pin down screen for the person on the bottom to outcut to the wing. There's a very similar entry to this called horns out, where the exact same thing happens, but there's just a line in horns alignment at the start. So we see the screen by Tarris Reed. Caravan's going to outcut to the wing. Then we're going to have the flip right there, and then the flare screen. A flare screen is an off-ball screen in between the passer and the recipient. There's going to be cleaner flare screens when that's the primary option, but on this, it's just to get Caravan right there. Now, page action. Page action is a back screen into a dribble handoff. So Caravan's going to set this back screen on Caden Boozer. Then he's going to fly off to get this handoff from Tarris Reed. Now, you're going to see what this back screen does to the Duke defense, and it's so great when the back screener is a shooter, because that also causes even more confusion. So here, as Caravan's going to set this back screen on Caden Boozer, you see Dame Sarr is going to flow back as if they're going to switch or to just provide some help. But Caden Boozer trails Smith here, which obviously is going to leave Caravan open for a split second. So he gets the handoff. He doesn't shoot it instantly, but that forces Dame Sarr to come up, and the ball is going to go to the wing. It's going to go to Tarris Reed, and he showed a lot of post work in this game. Post work from the footwork, from using his left hand. Does it here. Great move against Agungba. All right, so this is where we came to see Tarris Reed on Cam Boozer. And when Cam Boozer was the handler, Duke did a lot of stuff to try to make Tarris Reed to move his feet as a pick and roll defender. And I thought he did a really, really good job here. You see him walling off Cam Boozer. Again, he does a great job of just keeping his hands up, but when contact comes, he does have a tendency to slant his hands and then bring them down, which obviously can cause a foul trouble, right? So he did that. All right, so of course, we came to see Tarris Reed against Cam Boozer, and Tarris Reed really moved his feet really well in this game. And of course, we all came to see Reed versus Cam Boozer, and Duke has a just ready-made advantage in most games where you put a smaller guy on Cam Boozer, he's just going to bruise them. You put a bigger guy on Cam Boozer, they're going to run inverted pick and roll and use Cam Boozer's handling and mobility against you. But Tarris Reed did a phenomenal job in this game, especially as the pick and roll defender in the screen and being the on-ball defender right here. So he gets over the screen and he does a phenomenal job of getting in front of Cam Boozer. And as we saw a little bit on the first play, again, he does a great job of just walling up, using his strength and putting his hands up. But he does have a tendency when the contact comes to slant his hands, right? And that also, if a guy goes up into him, that can definitely cause some foul trouble. So he does that here, but he ends up getting the block. But then he does it again as he has his hands up. Cam Boozer's going to pivot, and then he jumps, and then again his hands slanted right there. We're going to see that a couple times where he's just playing really good defense. He's going to have his hands up, and then when somebody hits him, they slant down, and it's probably going to be a foul. Foul trouble was a thing for Tarris Reed in this tournament. He averaged 4.3 fouls per 40 minutes, which is a high number, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a problem in the NBA because, again, you get another foul to play with in the NBA, and he's not going to be playing 30 minutes, especially not early on in his career. Well, I don't think he's going to be playing 30 minutes when he comes into the league right away. So he won't be on the floor that long, hopefully to pick up 4 fouls. But here he does a phenomenal job of staying with Cam Boozer. But again, you see those arms get slanted, and he does jump at the mini pump fake right there. All right, so here we are in the second half, and Tarris Reed was phenomenal in the second half. Dominated this game on both sides of the floor and led this UConn comeback. He was impactful in damn near every play on both sides, and it was just amazing to see. So here, he gets the ball right there on the roll, spins off Cam Boozer, gets the pass to the corner, and the biggest improvement for Tarris Reed over these last couple of years, well, this year specifically, was his passing. He had a 17.8 assist percentage this year, which was in the 95th percentile for his position. Last year, it was a 10.8, and every single season of his collegiate career, his assist percentage went up. That also comes with him obviously becoming a better passer, but then his coaches trust in him as his passing has gotten better. So right there, great pass to the corner. And we're going to go down on the defense side of the ball. Duke's going to run some zoom action. Zoom action is an off-ball screen for somebody to go get a dribble handoff. So you can see Cam Boozer is going to set the off-ball screen for his brother so he can get the dribble handoff from Malik Brown. Now, Tarris is going to do a good job here as his teammate is taking away the square angle to Cam Boozer. So you ideally want to close out right in front of somebody, but Caravan is here as the pass is going to Cam Boozer. So he has to close out to the right hand or the right side of Cam Boozer. He sees that, of course, and he drives left. But look at the foot quickness by Tarris Reed, able to slide his feet, get right in front of Cam Boozer. This was probably a foul because he wrapped his arm around him in the back. But you see, he gets a lot of blocks without him actually like flying through the air, right? So he gets a block here on Cam Boozer where he's just positioned very good. Then he's gonna dive on the floor for the loose ball. And again, as an offensive rebounder, he's just relentless. And with the increased need or want for possession masters, Tarris Reed can really fit a role. And here with the Boozers running pick and roll, he's going to come over and do a good job of contesting the rim with his athleticism and forcing a miss. All right, so here we have him back on the offense. He's going to set the off-ball screen. Caravan is going to curl. He's going to get the ball to him on the roll, and a great finish on the other side by Tarris Reed. And on the defense side of the ball, again, he averaged 2 blocks and 1 steal. That's 3 stocks per game. For a big man, he has really good hands, and something that you will see a lot from him is he likes to jump passes. He knows how to play passing lanes as a big man, and you're going to see a lot of pick 6 opportunities from Tarris Reed when you watch his games. He can be very valuable as a big defender against a hub type of big because he pressures those guys at the top of the key, and he knows when those passes are coming to get the ball to the hub guys. And right there, very quick trigger as he takes that ball and dunks home. Again, getting into some foul trouble, playing amazing defense, using his chest instead of his hands. And then these pump fakes by Cam Boozer did get him, I think, 2 to 3 times where he's jumping just ever so slightly into Cam Boozer. But when you're already this close to somebody in the post and you're banging and you're playing defense, just a slight movement forward can definitely get you a foul. And his passing really flashed in the second half, man. I didn't see it live in the first half, but in the second half, he just did everything humanly possible to will you come back from that big deficit. So here he's going to get in the post. They're going to double team him, and he's going to make a phenomenal bounce pass right there to thread the needle and get it into that pocket. So here on defense, Duke is going to drive. He's going to come off his man, do a good job of providing some help. He's going to get in front of Dominic Sarr. Then he's going to force that pass. He's going to get back out to his man. Duke's going to run a pick and roll with Cam Boozer and Caleb Foster. They're going to pre-switch him into this pick and roll so he can be there with Cam Boozer. Caleb Foster is going to end up driving after the screen, and he's going to do a phenomenal job of being there to change the shot. All right, so we're going to start with a little bit of horns out entry. You're going to have that screen. They started at the elbows of free throw line. He's going to set the screen for Caravan to outcut. Ball is going to go to Smith right there, and they're going to try to get Tarris into this post up. And even when he doesn't get the ball, the play does not stop him. So he doesn't get the ball, but he sees his teammate drive, so he's going to seal off Malik Brown so he can't contest. All right, so he's going to get into the post against Cam Boozer. They're going to send a double team at him, and he does a great job of staying patient, staying on that pivot foot. And that pass, man, he looked at the corner one time, spun back the other way, I guess just to cause some misdirection, and not a behind the back, but like a side hook pass right across or around a gungba, and the 3 goes down. I say he does a phenomenal job against Cam Boozer, not letting him back him down further into the paint, but then does a great job of staying down on the pump face, keeping those hands up and forcing a really tough fadeaway. And just another phenomenal sequence here by Tarris Reed. So he's going to get the ball into the post. He's going to show some more of that post work, that footwork right there. It looks like he's going to rise up for a lefty hook after that shake, which freezes the Duke defense, but his teammates keep moving, and he passes out of his shot right there to an open solo ball for a layup. Now we go back on defense. He's in the corner right here versus Cam Boozer. Looks like Cam Boozer is going to try to set this flare screen as you see him pointing that way to his teammate. But Isaiah Evans sees the way the defense is playing it, so he's going to reject it, and he's going to cut. Tarris Reed, being the aware big that he is, sees that, he switches and contests the layup beautifully, forcing a miss and corrals the defense rebound. Here he's going to ghost this screen right here to get into the post. He's going to set this all-ball screen for Caravan. We've seen this Caravan curling, him roll into the paint with that empty pick and roll, and he gets another 2. Last but not least, we got Tarris Reed absolutely sitting in a chair versus Cam Boozer. They try to set the inverted pick and roll for him with that ghost screen. He just completely blows this up. They try to set the ghost screen on this side. They flip the angle of it. He just moves Isaiah Evans out of the way, slides his feet, pokes the ball loose from Cam Boozer, and they get the turnover. Then we go down. He's going to do the big man thing. He's going to set a screen right there for Alex Caravan as he guts up to the top. A deep 3. He stops Cam Boozer. Shot goes down. All right, so here we have him against Illinois in the Final Four. Here in this game, he had 17 points, 6 for 12 from the field, 11 rebounds. He was 5 for 5 from the free throw line. And I don't have a lot of clips from this game. He was good in this game, but he just did like a lot of big man stuff. It was less like dominant post work scoring. You know, he was getting off his rebounds and stuff like that. But there's definitely still stuff that I liked in this game because he did have a good game. 77 is just 2 consecutive on-ball screens. So when you see this right here, that is 77 action. But the veer is when somebody fakes an on-ball screen and it goes to set an off-ball screen, which is usually a wide pin down. So Caravan is just going to slip past this screen. Is going to go down. They're both going to set stagger screens again, 2 of the same off-ball screens, just a little bit of space in between them for Braylon Mullins to come off these 2 screens and for him to get a 3 on the wing. All right, so here again, we just see the relentless nature of him on the offensive glass. Sets the off-ball screen. He immediately goes to fight for position, goes get the ball, saves the ball, and gets his team an extra possession. Then as they go about the possession again, he's in a post trying to get the ball. Another shot goes up, and he's fighting and he's swimming to get possession, and then he gets the and one putback. And something I forgot to mention in the Duke game is that he just draws a ton of fouls from just being strong, and he does it in different ways. It could be from him getting off-ball fouls when he's fighting for position and he's just too strong. For some guys, as he gets great position, going for the basketball, and of course shooting fouls in the post. But here he gets one of those shooting fouls as he goes up for the putback. I sure UConn's going to run a great set to get some hollow action for Tarris to get an inside score. So they're going to have solo ball. He's going to be the baseline runner right there. Tarris is going to set this off-ball screen here for Alex Caravan to get to the top of the key, and he's going to aim to get the ball into Tarris Reed. Now, something very important right here is that Tarris Reed does a great job of pushing his defender up the floor, because if he was just to stay right here, Alex Caravan does not have a lot of room to throw this lob pass, as there's not enough room, or there's not a lot of room between Tarris Reed and the sideline. But him pushing his man up the floor gives more space for that lob pass to be thrown. Great catch, one-handed with the left hand, going backwards, and again that left hand hook. Aisha is going to be used as an all-ball screener. Again, does a great job of getting Stojakovic all the way off of Caravan. You see how Stojakovic is trailing Caravan, but as soon as he hits Tarris Reed, he stops him and that space is created. I think he's a solid screener. He definitely has room to improve, but the strength really helps him. And he also does a phenomenal job using his strength in the post against bigger players. He doesn't allow them to back him down all the way into the paint, thus forcing harder shots. All right, so here we are in the national championship, UConn versus Michigan. In this game, Reed had 13 points, 4 for 12 from the field, 14 rebounds, 3 turnovers, 1 steal, and he was 5 for 6 from the free throw line. Of course, not a great game, but here you can see against one of the best bigs in this draft, Daymar, he's able to use that strength, create that space, and again, the lefty hook. But it definitely is hard to keep doing that against a guy like a Daymar and a Michigan frontcourt that is the closest thing you're ever going to see to an NBA frontcourt in college, with Mara at 7'3", Yaxo at 6'10", and Morez Johnson at about 6'10". Also, it's going to be very hard to score over that length over and over again. But I don't really think like his shooting woes in this game have anything to do with what he's going to be doing in the league, because again, these are him posting up against a good post defender in a Daymar. He's not going to be getting post ups, like definitely not as much as he was in college. So he's going to be a much more rolling play type guy, just setting screens and as a handoff passer. But physically, I didn't think he was outmatched. Defensively, I didn't think he was outmatched. I thought he played really well there. It was just that he shot bad on play types and shots that he's not going to be taking in the NBA. All right, so Tarris Reed does the big man things as UConn runs a really good play. So they set up this back screen here for Caravan, which of course has the attention of Cheddar right here and Yaxel Lindenborg. So the back screen comes, but at the same time, Braylon Mullins is coming off for this handoff right here, and he completely stonewalls Trey McKinney right there, and the shot goes up, but then he gets the offensive rebound after setting a great screen, getting his team another open 3 opportunity. I sure again, he's going to have trouble like finishing over size if he's gonna run right into guys and post up and pivot a couple times. Again, just not a play type that I think he'll be doing much of in the NBA. But this is the only time actually that I saw Tarris Reed's like awareness on defense, just like he just loses himself on defense. This is the only time that I've seen it, right? So I don't think this is going to be a problem at the next level, but he does a great job here on the screen, gets out on the handler. He's going to swipe at the ball and then he's going to get back, right? And he's in position to get back. We've seen him slide his feet and get back in the pick and roll defensively as a screen defender. He didn't even put his hands up, but then he just like loses the ball as the pass is going to Mar here. He's looking the other way. I don't know what happened here, but he's usually so sound. And if he's sound 99% of plays, I will categorize him as sound. But it was just interesting to see this actually happen. I don't know why this clip is cut off, but Mar did score in this play. All right, it's just same thing. Michigan knows that he's showing or he's hedging on these pick and rolls, and immediately as he just takes one step up on Yaxu, and Yaxu does a phenomenal job, and Mar does a phenomenal job slipping this, getting the ball to Mar on the short roll. But Tarris does a great job just flowing with the defense here as Smith forces the pass and he goes directly down to impact the shot at the rim. And again, the margins, the dirty work, fighting against Mar, getting the offensive rebound, getting on the floor for the ball, and a great pass to Caravan for an open three. All right, so I did forget to show his free throw form. He shot 62% from the line. Obviously not good, and especially for a guy that does get to the line quite a bit with his strength. But I don't see anything like wrong. It kind of it reminds me of Drummond a little bit, and Drummond obviously improved his stroke from outside, of course, and from the line. But it doesn't look bad. He looks square, looks good. Like that's not a bad shot. Like I don't project Tarris to be able to shoot, but I mean this form is not bad, and he does not need to shoot to be impactful. But of course that helps if he can hit a corner three or even like a jumper or two. But I don't think he needs that. But the shot I don't think is bad at all. He just needs to work on it. All right, so he's gonna work as an all-ball screener again as a solo ball guts this and comes up to the top of the key. Boom, hits Morris Johnson right there, stop him in his tracks. The shot does not go down though, but again, he does a phenomenal job of changing the shot at the rim without being super athletic, flying through the air, using that verticality right there against Yaxu. Again, he does a good job here knowing when to screen, when not to screen, and when to slip. So here, Yaxu's late to close out. He jumps at the pump fake, so now he knows he does not have to sit here and screen Yaxu, which was the original play. And then Mara also, with Yaxu out of the play, he has to come up on Caravan. So he just slips right down to the paint, which forces Cadeau to tag him, which leaves the corner open for Braylon Mullins. So his movement got an open corner three. Then he's fighting with Mar. He's going to rip another rebound away from Yaxu, getting on the floor, and that gets them 2 points. And I talked about his quick trigger in the passing lanes where he's able to diagnose things quickly and jump out on those passes. You can see that quick trigger in other areas too, where he's basically in drop coverage and he has 1 foot in the paint and Yaxu at the 3-point line, but he's able to lunge and jump all the way up to Yaxu, get a great contest and force a miss. And what I just talked about, that quick trigger in the passing lane, looks like Michigan was trying to go to double get, so they try to get the ball to Mara. He sees that quick trigger, gets his hand on the ball, runs it down, great behind the back pass, but the layup just doesn't go. But then he hustles right there and gets his hand on another pass as he gets low to take away that, well, not take away, but to force a loose ball from Morris Johnson. But that is a video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe, and share to any and everyone that you can. This one got there a little bit more. Now we'll see you guys in the next video. This is Nick. Peace.